Hello, I am Jessica Graham Robinson of sacredspacehealingarts.com, and today I wanted to talk to you about the art of saying no. So, as a woman, particularly, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about that. Don't be offended if you're a male, but as a woman, particularly, I grew up with the messaging that I didn't really get to say no. I didn't get to say no to my parents. I didn't get to say no to my teacher. I didn't have the right to say no. And the way that affected me is that as I grew up, I kind of felt like I needed to apologize for just being, because I wasn't maybe like everyone else, or because my preference was different, or because I really wanted to say no, but I felt like I didn't have that right. And it's really, when you think about it, it's very absurd. Why on earth would that be something? Why would that be acceptable for a person, for a little girl or a little boy, for a grown-up man or woman, anyone, to feel like they didn't have the right to say no when it comes to their bodies in particular, but even when it comes to preferences, like how you want to spend your time, who you want to be with, what you want to eat. I'll give you another example. Relationships, right? Who you want to be with. There definitely was a time in my life where I felt like I didn't have the right to say no. If someone invited me to go out, if someone was interested in me, I felt like I owed it to them because they were interested. And that is an unhealthy way to be. I have recovered from that way of being, but it still creeps in different ways. One way that I see it sometimes coming through is eating in a restaurant. Sometimes I'll hear my voice talking to the server, and rather than just saying without apologies what I'd like, what I want, I have in the past and still catch myself saying things as if I'm apologizing while I'm asking for something. And that's not a very strong place to come from. It's not a very comfortable place to come from. If you have to ask for something while apologizing, it feels pretty crummy. And so I'm recognizing when even in those little tiny instances when I do that and trying to turn it around, I'm paying for this meal. I'm paying good money for this meal. And I'm paying the server for serving the meal to me, which is not like that in other countries even. But it gives me there's no reason. Again, just absurdity, right? That's not something that we need to feel. It's something that takes a lot of energy and takes away from the whole experience of being, if you have to feel like you're apologizing. And so one of the things about this is it's kind of a first chakra issue, the idea of not feeling valid in and of yourself, of not feeling grounded in and having the right to take up space, or second chakra, having the right to have desires and feelings, and third chakra, having the right to act on those, taking action on those thoughts, feelings, desires, or feelings and desires more so. And so it becomes really important as people, as women, that we recognize when we're doing things like this that don't serve us at all. It's just old patterning. It comes from your childhood. It comes from maybe past relationships. But the thing is, it doesn't have to be you. It doesn't need to define you now. And so it's your body, your time, your feelings, your preferences, and it's okay to take a stand for all of those and more, right? Your thoughts, your whatever, your desires, your plans, your loved ones. It's okay for you to take a stand for what you feel and you believe. And so I want you to ask yourself right now, in thinking about the art of saying no, like just asking yourself, you can take out a piece of paper, ask yourself, what would you like to be saying yes to more often? What would you like to be using your time for? What would you like to be doing more of, experiencing more of, feeling more of in your life right now? So I'm going to give you just a minute to think about that and hopefully write it down. Hopefully you brought a journal with you, a piece of paper. So what would you like to be saying yes to? Take away the analytical side of your brain that is going to step in and say, oh, well, in order to ask for that, you would need blah, 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 blah. Or the part of you that says, oh, that's not possible because of blah, 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 right? So current life circumstances, not an issue. Money, not an issue. Time, not an issue. Nothing is an issue. Relationships, no issues. What would you want to say yes to? And then just, I would suggest that you do this stream of conscious. And so it doesn't need to be written out in perfect sentences. It doesn't need to take a lot of time even. You're just gonna write down like sunshine, intimacy, whatever those things are for you. Like, what do you want to be saying yes to more of? And it can have to do with any aspect of your life whatsoever. So the other thing is now either next page or draw a line, next column. What would you like to be saying no to? What is it that you would like to be doing less of in your life right now? This one might be easier. Sometimes if you're the type of person who doesn't really let yourself dream a lot, if you've gotten out of touch with your deepest desires, then sometimes it can be hard to figure out what we want to say yes to more. Or maybe that one was easy too. What would you like to be doing less of that you're currently doing or currently experiencing? What feelings would you like to be experiencing less? What thoughts would you like to be having less? Are there people in your life that you would like to see less or not at all? Are there situations in your life that you would like to not have at all? Like, same thing, like don't hold yourself back. Just write about what you want to say no to. And it doesn't have to be right, and it doesn't have to, don't let the analytical mind come into it. It doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to feel doable even for you right now. Like there might be a person you don't want in your life anymore, and then you might be married to them. So in your mind, you might be thinking, I can't really do that right now. So don't let any of those things enter into the equation. Just, we're here in a sacred space, just you and me. What would you do? What would you do more of? What would you do less of? What would you say yes to? What would you say no to? So then we're going to do a little exercise. But basically, when you get clear on what you want more of in your life, like really want more of, you really desire more of that feeling or doing that thing or being with those people or whatever it is, then you have your why. And when you have your why, it makes it so much easier to prioritize. So then we can get down to actually making those choices day to day. What can you say no to that will be a yes for you? A yes for you nourishing yourself. A yes for the the things that bring you more value, things that you love in your life. And before we have the why, though, it can be hard because you're just going day and you're doing the things you do. Somebody asks you to do this. Oh yeah, sure, I can help out, and all of these different things. Then next thing you know, you're overloaded, you're overscheduled, and you don't know what to say no to. But when you have your why, like, what is it you want to feel more of? What is it we're working towards in your life? Then it's a clear no that you don't want to go out to that beer and pizza social because it's not going to get you closer to what you want. It's just going to take up a couple hours of your time that you could be spending doing something that's more meaningful. That's just an example. So now we're going to do a little exercise. If you can, sit down. Standing is okay too. It doesn't really matter. What's important is that you feel very grounded. So if you're standing, I want you to stand with your feet about hip distance or a little bit more apart. Soften your knees. Soften your lower back. Let your hips move slightly back so that, like the tops of your thigh bones slightly back so that you have a curve in your lower back. Lengthen your spine, expand your ribs, your upper ribs out to the sides, back behind you, forward. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, root back down into the earth, keeping the knees soft, keeping the lower back like mobile, flexible. So take a deep breath in. This time we're going to just raise your arms up. Keep the knees soft, a little bend. Raise, raise, raise. Reach with your arms. Deep breath in. And then as you exhale, keep the length, keep the spaciousness you've created, but softly let the arms float back down. Breathing out, grounding your feet down into the earth. Now take one or both hands to your lower belly, to your second chakra area. Take a deep breath there. Let's do that a couple times because in the beginning, if you're used to breathing up high, it can be hard to get the breath down low. So I want you to expand into your lower belly. Who cares if your belly gets big? Breathe in and just do it. Expand into your lower back all the way around into that second chakra area, your pelvis. So now eyes closed for this part of the exercise. So you're breathing. Now just be relaxed, be mobile, don't feel stiff. All right, the knees are just soft so that they're not locked, but you don't need a big bend in them. All right, so now I want you to just keep breathing and noticing in your body, noticing what your body feels like. And now I want you to think of something that was on your list of yeses, or if it doesn't even have to be on your list, but something that you feel a strong yes for, something that you feel really excited, passionate, loving, creative, fill in the blank, blissed out about, right? It could be, do you love your son? It could be doing something with your person, right? It could be just doing something you love, but I want you to think of that thing that's like an absolute, it's a yes, and then I want you to imagine it happening right now with your eyes closed, and then feel what it feels like in your body. Feel what that feels like in your body. You're still breathing with awareness, down low, and noticing. Notice where, if you feel specific sensations, where you're feeling them, what they feel like. All right? It feels good, right? A yes feels good. And now I want you to just go ahead and just to break this up, go ahead and open your eyes. And then just move your body a little bit. Wiggle your feet, your toes, your hands. Shake your body out. a little bit. Okay, now I want you to get back into your body. Knees are soft. And I want you to imagine something on your no list, or something that like, it might not even be on your no list because it might not actually be in your life, but something that you could feel an absolute is a no. And then I want you to close your eyes and I want you to think of that no. I want you to feel what that feels like. Keep breathing. Don't stop breathing. Sometimes no's can feel so contractive that you stop breathing, but don't let yourself stop breathing. Breathe through the no. And just notice what it feels like, where you feel it, what the sensation is like. All right, so now again, deep breath, slowly begin to open your eyes. Shake your body around a little bit. So you just move out of that. And so from here, so that was just a little exercise to kind of help you know that your body, your being, your body, you can't separate your mind, your body, your spirit. We have these different layers that we talk about for the sake of talking about them because it serves a purpose, but we can't separate them. We are one being. And so when anything happens to you on one level, it's happening on all of those levels. So if something is a no or a yes, you can feel it. If you're tapped in, if you're tuned into your body, you can feel it in your body. It has a palpable sensation to it. And so if you practice this, you can get really good at listening to that. So when you're in a situation, you're not sure what to do, right? You're presented with an option. Should I do this or not? Take a minute or 30 seconds, just pause, take some deep breaths, and how's your body feeling? What is your body telling you? Because that is going to be a very clear answer, usually, a very clear gauge. If you can get into your body, and all you have to do is just what we did right now. You just make sure you don't feel stuck anywhere, right? Loosen things up a little bit, soften your knees, breathe into your body, into your pelvis, feel into your body, be present there. And then if you do that, you'll know. And so where I want to go with this is just kind of wrapping up here, that if you can use this, like you can use this in situations, but you can also use it in designing your life. So right now, if you're feeling overscheduled, if you're feeling like you don't have enough time, I want you to honestly look at your calendar. So take out a piece of paper and just write out, what does a normal week look like for you? What do your days look like? If your days are different, some people, the days are kind of the same. Oftentimes they vary depending on different activities that are going on. But I want you to look at it honestly, and don't forget all of the little things that you're also doing. Or maybe a better place to start is just actually taking a piece of paper, taking a pad with you or journal or something throughout your day and writing down how you're spending your time. Because chances are when you look at your calendar, you're not figuring in the fact that you're spending an hour on Facebook before you go to bed, or like the last 30 minutes of your day scrolling through Instagram, or that you're doing things there's a lot of little things that we do that are kind of, they can take up a lot of time. but we don't even think of them as things that we're doing because it wasn't on our list of to-dos. It was just something that ended up happening, or it might be a habit that of something that we do where we're actually not spending that time the way we want to be spending the time. So the thing is to look at it honestly, and if you're not sure, then go throughout your day, and for at least 24 hours, write down, what are you doing? What are you doing when you first wake up in the morning? That's a really important time of the day where you set the tone for the rest of the day. And so if you're like checking your email first thing when you wake up in the morning, that might not be how you want to spend your day. That might not be, is that in your list of yeses? Right? So do the exercise, find out what the yeses are, find out what the nos are, go through and look at what you're actually doing to spend your time in an average day or week. And then I want you to look at when you want, now that you prioritize your yeses, what can you say no to? And sometimes these might be like commitments that you've made to organization or a person. And so that can be hard to say no, because you might love that person. You might really care about that organization. But maybe now is not the time for you to be spending that time that way. Maybe it is, but that's for you to decide. So the same thing with people, like paying attention. What are your habits, and do they reflect your values, your yeses? So that you can start to say no. So start to pay attention when you're presented with, so that's your homework, right? Okay. And then also just pay attention throughout your day and all your days. When you're presented with an option, with a choice to make, what does it feel like in your body? If I said yes to that, what does that feel like? If I said no to that, what does that feel like? And oftentimes you'll get your answer just like that. And then don't feel bad about it. Once you've made a choice, be loving about it to yourself and to whoever you had to say no to. And don't feel bad about it. Don't apologize for your feelings or preferences or how you choose to spend your time or use your body or anything. These things, as long as you're not harming someone, you don't need to apologize. Okay? All right. So that is all for today. If this interests you and you'd like to know more about feeling your feelings, I have a free audio meditation that I would love to share with you that is on feeling your feelings. And if you don't already have it, then if you comment below, I will send you the meditation. So thanks so much for watching, and have a wonderful week getting curious and figuring out the art of saying no.